Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Barrel Shop. The ABV Barrel Shop is located in the St. Louis metro community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on one thing, single barrels. Best of all, you can try before you buy. Head over to abvbarrelshop.com to sign up for their email and text distribution so you know what they have in stock, what classes are coming up, and who from the industry may be coming in to visit. The ABV Barrel Shop. It's where single barrels live. We're also sponsored by the Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers traveling minibars that are no bigger than a small purse or toiletry bag. Best of all, they are fully customizable so you can create the perfect piece that is unique for you. If you own your own business, what a fun and unique way to promote what you do. Check them out online at thebartogo.com. That is the number 2 in the Bar to Go. If you have wholesale questions, call my friend Isabel Clark at 504-481-1297. Finally, we are sponsored by the Neely Family Distillery. NFD is a family-owned business that keeps ringing up awards in the spirits world. Head to Sparta, Kentucky to experience the family history, award-winning spirits, and meet the Neely family. Check them out online at neelyfamilydistillery.com. Now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we wonder if the question of whether or not Jack Daniel's bourbon is played out or still a viable discussion. My name is McNew. Please join me in welcoming my co-host, Steve Agley, along with our special guests, Katie Proof, Ryan Thompson, and Lenny Eckstein.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Hey, guys.
What's up, guys? Hello.
Yep. This is such a a topic of discussion that we're now doing a show dedicated to should people still talk about this. We're not gonna get into the debate here. We're not talking about it. We're not laying out anything why it is or isn't a bourbon. We're not doing that. We're talking about should people even be. Yeah. Katie was ready to go. Katie was all ready to go. She was angry, but
everything.
Yeah. So we're not doing that. We're going to just say decide if we think people need to even be talking about that anymore. We'll get to that after the break. For right now, Katie said there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, Katie?
That's right. I would like to know if your vehicle organization and cleanliness is an accurate representation of the rest of your life.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it makes sense.
That's deep.
That is deep.
Thank you. I've been pondering it all day. I'm just dying to do the podcast tonight. So
I think mine is. I mean, I try not to, I don't know that I'm overly clean in terms of there's the beard hairs that fall out end up being on the floor and they gather. But I don't leave anything in the vehicle or anything like that. I don't have food wrappers. I in my car, in my mind, like if McNew was driving, he would be like, hold on, we need to stop and get rid of all these McDonald's bags and stuff. I don't have anything like that. I don't have any trash in my car. I don't try to leave anything in the car. I keep a jacket in there because I always have something I've always done. And then this year I didn't do it. And then the one night we had a cold night, the building that our business is in started on fire, and it was at the other. McNew was there, and I was outside for like an hour, and I was freezing my ass off.
McNew walked in, the place just caught on fire.
Yeah, it's caught on fire.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was on the other side. It didn't make it over by us, but So I have a jacket in there. That's really it. So yeah. So is that reflective of me? Kind of put together, but also kind of a mess. If you look down on the floor where those beard hairs fall, and or stuff off your feet, rocks and stuff like that. Yeah, it's not really clean. It's just I don't leave stuff in there. So if you look close, I don't dust it in the inside or whatever like some people do. So yeah, it's.
Steve, one of your beard hairs is like equivalent to like 300
females' hair. It's like
I know.
People complain about females shedding everywhere.
It's so embarrassing. Like I'll go to Royce and Becca's. They don't have any carpet anywhere or anything like that. And then I'll be walking around one day and I'll look over and I see across the room there's this white hair and it's this long and it's crinkled. I'm like shit. There's nobody else I can blame this on. You
can blame the cat because he's not white.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that long a hair. He's a short hair, so yeah.
If it were the same color, I'll try to blame
it's embarrassing, but they do fall out. I don't.
You gift them a long hair cat just so that there's someone else to blame it on.
A beautiful white Russian cat. You're like,
yes.
I want to get one of those that look like Wilford Brimley, like that one I posted in the Crew Club page. That cat looked just like Wilford Brimley. That was amazing. Yeah.
Agley, is it crinkled or is it curled? Which one is it?
I think it's crinkled. Yeah.
It's
crinkled.
curled
It's not
on a
curled.
female,
It's
but
not really
crinkled on a
curled.
man.
Yeah. It's crinkled.
Okay, fair enough.
Crinkled beard hair. Yeah. I guess I have crinkled hair too. I just keep it so cropped short. Yeah, so the curl doesn't get to come out, so I keep it cut short. So my wife hates curly. For men, she hates curly hair on men because her hair is very straight, and it just angers her that men would have, because she feels like all women's hair should have a natural curl, and then men if once that's taken care of, then
I love having straight hair. It's so much easier.
She doesn't like that. She doesn't like that.
The low maintenance is everything. That like
I'll tell her that. You'll see her again. You'll see her again. You can tell her.
Yeah.
We'll have her talk to you.
It's okay. You just got to embrace.
Well, I'll set up a conference call for you two can walk through that. So it'll make everyone's life easier. That's for sure.
Yes.
That's for sure. McNew, tell us about your vehicle. It's got to be a wreck.
No, so the one I have, like, I work from home. I'm really not in it enough to make it a mess, unless I'm going out of town and I'm like stopping everywhere, and then I just throw crap in the back seat.
There you go.
But it's only on road trips. It gets cleaned out as soon as I get back. It is clean right now. All that is in it is a beanie and a coat, because I'm not a coat wearer, but I don't want to wreck and be stranded.
You don't want to be like if your building starts on fire. Yes.
So I do keep a coat in there. You might.
All right, I'm going to do a spot check. Next time I'm hanging out with you, I'm going to do a spot check.
You should. There actually is some still dirt in the hatch area where I brought home plants last summer, and I haven't swept that out yet. But who cares? Sure. So it's really not overly dirty. I don't have trash in it, just stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
Trash.
All right. So Ryan, how about you? What's your vehicle look like?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say
great Poupon bottles everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All over the road.
I am a little bit judgmental when I get in somebody else's car as to how clean it is, because I think it's a reflection on the rest of their life.
Okay.
So there's that. My personal car, F-150, certainly doesn't have any trash in it. If it does, I clean it out at the end of the day.
Okay.
I'm not immaculate. There is some dirt, some rocks and stuff on the ground.
Yeah,
I try to keep the dashboard relatively clean of dust. I do have some basically some Clorox wet wipes in the garage to clean it up, but I'm not super anal about it. So it does gather dust. Maybe once every 2 weeks I'll wipe it down. And I certainly love going to the car wash and doing a big deep detail on a truck.
A deep detail. Deep.
But I'm guilty as well as to certainly having some dirt and some rocks and whatnot around. But at the end of the day, I'm cleaning out any of the trash. I don't leave my jacket in the car usually. Condom
wrappers, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, all that stuff. All that stuff. You gotta clean out the crime scene.
You gotta get all that stuff out of there. Yeah, okay.
So I don't leave relatively clean. I'd say I give myself maybe a grade of an 80, of a B plus maybe.
Okay.
Of cleanliness. So
okay, he was 85 is a B plus in his world. So
maybe 87, 88.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Lenny. Lenny looks like a sort of dirty fellow, so I would assume his car is pretty much all right. He always looks like he needs a bath. So yeah.
That's not true. I got to qualify this on two levels. My primary vehicle, I've got a pickup. It's very well kept. I don't like dust on the dashboard. I don't like any of that nonsense. But God, this is kind of a long story. I'll
sure. Do the best you can.
We had, let's see, we had three vehicles, and one was my wife's oldest vehicle, the Subaru Outback. And Arlo threw up in the back of that vehicle, and the next day, Amy drove to the city and traded in for a new vehicle. And it annoyed me because
Kid Pukes traded in. We're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Done. Not even cleaning it. Just take it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I think the dealership was like, well, gross, but okay. So then I needed a new beater car. So I bought one. And that's what I drive kind of the most, because it's like when I'm driving to, one town over, or if I'm leaving a vehicle at the airport, I don't want somebody stealing my catalytic converter, as such happens like at Denver Airport, which is super fucking annoying. So my beater car, I try to keep in good shape. I wipe the dashboard down, the front, very clean. The back, where Arlo sits, I looked in the rearview mirror one time and I saw him hand up to the ceiling of the car. And I'm trying to figure out what he's doing, and I watch him. He's pulling the fabric off of the all slowed down So I yell, I'm like, stop it! What are you doing? And he's like, what? I didn't do anything. I'm like, I just watched you rip the
I
fabric,
didn't do anything.
slope down, and shit. So between like that and like juice boxes and Legos.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
Yeah,
So
like,
I do think Lenny gets a pass here. I don't have any friends with kids that have nice or clean cars. So you
That's
do get
fair.
a pass.
That's a
It's
fair.
whatever the hell he does back
And I
there.
have like their driver's seat is clean and clean, like, but the
And then the
rest of
rest
the
of it is
car is
like-
a disaster.
Huh.
to your point, in my Tundra, which I keep very nice, there's like, it looks like somebody opened like a chocolate milkshake or something, and it's sprayed up the ceiling. And again, I was like, Arlo, what the fuck? And he was like, I didn't do it. I was like, well, it's emanating from the seat you sit in and sprayed out.
Secret kids, it's got to be you.
I didn't do anything.
I just
Huh.
love his willingness just to deny.
Just deny everything. Hell yeah.
And maybe he did it, but he didn't realize it. There's
Oh,
always
yeah.
that.
Yeah. You can
Nobody else
absolutely.
chocolate milkshakes in this truck.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Katie, how about you? What's your vehicle look like?
Well, first off, Arlo's the ideal client for a lawyer. Just the immediate denial wasn't me.
Right,
I don't
right.
know what I'm about.
Not guilty.
Yeah.
But so typically my truck is very clean. I have a subscription to the car wash I go through regularly. And even though I was taking my animals to my office almost every day, I still would like multiple times a week vacuum out the hair, make sure everything's good. I've got it called a taco that goes, it's a liner. I call it the dog taco, but it's a liner that goes across the back seat of the truck.
Okay.
So that all the dog hair stays in
Yes.
that and I can just wash it.
Yeah. The cat.
That's like,
Right on cue.
And so, however, so a few things happened here. First, I had changed careers, had to close down my office, which resulted in a lot of movement around and less free time. Then also bought a new house, and I've been moving and still in the process of it. So, and then with the holidays as well, my truck is currently a horrible mess. Like, I have not vacuumed out the animal hair in probably almost 2 months now. I have a bunch of like returns from Christmas. I have not organized all of my like Girl Scout necessary items because I'm prepared as well. So I've got my ratchet straps and the coat and the umbrella and the emergency lights and my air compressor and everything all neatly below the seat. Like it all has a place. It sits there so you can't see it when the seat is down. However, everything is a mess at the moment. Like even the center console between my front seats has papers and my wallet and napkins and everything. And normally it's completely empty. Like you see, like if there's something spills, you can see it and I wipe it up immediately. And it is driving me nuts. Like I get in my truck every day. I'm just like, this is a representation of my life at the moment. Everything is very hectic and I cannot stand it. So I'm very much looking forward to being done with moving and getting my truck back in order. And I feel like the world will right itself again.
Okay. Well, there you go. On that note, it's time to drink. What is everyone drinking? Let's start with Lenny this time.
Oh, that's a fine question. Let's see. I am drinking some Few straight bourbon.
Okay.
Mic adjust.
Wow.
That was all table. Yeah, 100%.
I did like the facial expression.
Yeah.
I stopped
I'm going to
reading.
go with an Illinois brand as well. I'll go with Stumpy's. So this is 90 proof. This is their old batch whiskey. So here we go. That's our lead right there. That's our lead.
Less table.
Yeah, less table for sure. So all right. Next up is going to be McNew.
So I was going to be on theme, and I just grabbed Jack Daniels with the screw top.
Okay.
I didn't get any Coke, so I'm not.
All right, Ryan.
That is good thinking, McNew. I'm impressed.
she was-
Nicely
was
done.
good.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to win just by default since you're the only one that
She
Maybe.
themed it. Yeah.
she themed it. I did not theme it, but a little 93 proof Yellowstone here. So
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got the lead. Katie, you're last but not least. What do you got?
I have some Basil Hayden, aged 10 years. I'm going all the way down to 80 proof for this one.
Oh,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
moist January.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing out of that. Absolutely nothing.
I heard someone talking about moist. And,
I was going to
that's
say
all I
moist
heard.
January. That's
Moist
You know what?
January. Unless
It
that
was
cork.
better than the
You're
nothingness
not
that came out
calling
of
it
this
that.
cork.
That is
So really, Lenny was there as my backup because this was a very disappointing attempt.
If that
at a pop,
cork said moist January, then yes, then you win. But unless that was the cork. McNew doesn't like that.
So. Is there a rare bottle that speaks to you as it opens? You got to pay extra for that.
Yeah. So, cheers to me. Cheers to me on the big win. Cheers. All right, we're going to take a moist break, and after that, we'll be back to talk about whether or not is Jack Daniel's bourbon a viable question anymore. We'll do that in just a few. Okay, let's talk about the people that make these shows happen. First up is the Stave and Thief Society. Via their in-person class at Moonshine University in Louisville, Kentucky, the Stave and Thief Society is the place where you, a bourbon enthusiast, can expand your knowledge and emerge an executive bourbon steward. In 2017, I completed my executive bourbon steward certification. It's the most comprehensive bourbon certification available and connects you with an expansive network of bourbon enthusiasts and professionals. Check out the full listing of in-person and online certifications and join the society today by enrolling at staveandthief.com. Speaking of executive bourbon steward certification, the ABV Barrel Shop in St. Louis, Missouri has developed a unique partnership with the Stave and Thief Society to offer a preparatory class to assist you in getting your executive bourbon steward certification. This prep class costs only $25 and is available to take live or online via Zoom. Graduates of our class receive a coupon code good for 15% off your executive bourbon steward certification held in Louisville, Kentucky. This saves you almost $90. Additionally, you can collaborate with fellow attendees to split travel costs when you go to Louisville. If you're interested in signing up for the class, simply head over to abvbarrelshop.com and check out the classes and events page. Last but not least, we are sponsored by Neely Family Distillery. Royce Neely is the 11th generation distiller in one of America's oldest distilling families. A visit to Neely Family Distillery takes you through family history, where you can see all the artifacts and newspaper clippings through the years from this family that started distilling in America after James Neely arrived from Northern Ireland in 1740. Today, Royce Neely and his team are crafting some of the best spirits in America. Their bourbon and absinthe offerings keep winning top honors in the spirits competitions. Recently, their absinthe made history as the first platinum winner in the absinthe category at the San Francisco Spirits Competition. Neely Family Distillery is definitely a bucket list destination if you are a bourbon fan. Learn more about their spirit offerings, visiting their facility, and the awards they have collected over at neelyfamilydistillery.com.
This is Jim Fosnut. I'm your bourbon buddy, and you're listening to the Bourbon Daily.
I am quitting. Just kidding. Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today we're talking about the question, is Jack Daniel's a bourbon?
Yes, we are. So this has been, debate that's going on, and, Facebook's out there. And I saw it a couple times over like the holiday break. A couple people, and it's the same old stuff. It's the same question. It's the same answers. It's the same reasons why your answers are wrong, even though you're using facts. It's wrong. Can we just get beyond that question, or do you guys think it's still something we should talk about?
No.
Yeah.
It's all stupid. And honestly, I don't care what your answer is.
Right.
Because there's the legal definition of it, and it meets the legal definition of bourbon. And then they're saying, well, it doesn't count because there's extra. Well, then you could say the same for things that don't meet the requirement, that bourbon's not whiskey then, because it has something extra. So it doesn't matter, but I am fine with it because I'm not a big fan of Jack Daniels. So if they don't want to be bourbon, they can F off. And that's totally fine with me. If the diehard Jack Daniels fans would say it's not bourbon, that's fine. Get the hell out. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. It doesn't matter. So either way with the answer, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We need to move on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same argument of the guys that are like, bourbon's only made in Kentucky. Shut the fuck up. You were just trying to argue. Like, nobody's going to prove you wrong, even though you were very wrong. Like, they just want to argue with a wall. So let them. I am so sick of these conversations.
I know. I'm
okay with these evergreen conversations, if you will, because I'm optimistic. I think it's because there are new people coming into the space. Maybe they're not as educated as some of us that have been in it for a while. and maybe they're just trying to learn and they don't know any better. I hope they're not just doing it for
I think they just want to get in
sake.
fights. I think that's fine.
I hope not, but if they
so
are,
positive,
whatever.
nice about this, and we are the rest of us are like, no, hate them.
It's not like a not like a nice conversation going back and forth. Here's why I think it is. It's like, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh yeah, big deal, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, it's like tell me why it doesn't fit. It's like fuck you. Yeah, I don't know.
There's nothing positive, and it's on Facebook. It's everywhere. It's like nobody's being nice about it. So I'm like, stop bringing it up. My God.
Yeah. And what do you think, Lenny?
Well, I think so. So I'm sure there's more like historical research findings, writings, all depicting. But I think what's interesting is that it even is a discussion in the sense of not is it or isn't it, but like why was it ever not? And I don't know the answer to that in terms of like historically. Again, somebody might be able to draw it, but like if you think back, were they, I suppose, trying to like carve their own path and be like, well, you guys are doing that over there. We're Tennessee whiskey,
right?
And this, or like, at what point historically did they take that kind of brand evolution and effort to forge their own damn thing? And would that ever happen in more modern times? And I
don't think so.
No fucking way would it happen.
Right. But it worked then, and it built these loyal, and here's why it was genius. And here's what they did. So it's exactly that. It was a marketing thing. It's always been by the government. It's always been recognized, as bourbon. That's what in the numbers, in the reporting numbers, it gets counted in bourbon. But why it was so important for Jack Daniel's was what they did is they created, we're not bourbon, we're Tennessee whiskey. And then when they had their fans, it's like, you like Tennessee whiskey. You don't like bourbon. So they became locked in and they bought into it because they were Tennessee whiskey fans. It's like, I'm Jack Daniels. I'm a Tennessee whiskey fan. I'm not a bourbon fan. I don't even want to try that. So they'd lock them in for life. That's.
I think you're right about that. But then I think like there's another subsect, and it's like, I think this is all like goof bro science theory, but like broader than the region surrounding it. When you get far enough out, I don't think anybody even cares about that. It's like, what brand can they latch onto? And the historic heritage big ones are Beam, Jack, Makers. Like to them, they're not even qualifying. Like there's no one who orders a shot of Jack at a bar in Wyoming who's like, is that bourbon or is that Tennessee whiskey?
But I think you're looking at it through the lens of modern day, and I get that because you can educate yourself. Today's bourbon or whiskey consumers are very educated. But if you think about if you're talking about what I'm talking about, go back to 1946, and all you know is you see on the label. This Jack Daniels that I tried and I like is called Tennessee whiskey. And someone showed me Jim Beam. That's actually bourbon. It must be a different thing. And I can't go to social media. I can't go to the internet and research it. It's like, oh, I guess I like Tennessee whiskey. So I'm only going to drink Tennessee. I'm searching out other Tennessee whiskeys. Well, there really wasn't any at that time. It was just Jack Daniels. So no, I think that's what they did. They created their own little lane that people got in and stayed in.
And I believe as a result of it, what they've done, so I think there's a specific flavor profile for Tennessee whiskey, and that's what they're focused on, saying this is what we're wanting differentiated. But in result, I think it almost tries to suggest that bourbon also has a similar flavor profile to it, and we're ignoring all the vast variety of what bourbon can be. The same as if you say, well, we're not a whiskey because this is Tennessee whiskey, but everyone agrees that whiskey can be such a wide variety. So I think I want the argument to go away because I want it to be recognized of how much difference you can have within bourbon.
Yeah, that's
is it weeded? Is it a high rye bourbon? Of all these differences you can have that are then it's almost like ignoring those.
Right.
Yeah, and like mild tangent, but what I see happening often, especially with regards to bourbon produced by smaller producers, craft bourbon, sometimes people take a sip and be like, "Oh, that flavor, it's not like it's almost like their calibrator is off because it doesn't taste like a benchmark known bourbon." Whereas the lane is wide, I would like to see more latitude in bourbon, I guess.
I think that's why I love single barrel so much, because I like having the variety of what am I in the mood for right now and with what I'm doing and getting all the different choices that you can have of, am I wanting to go to my Ocean Age to get that salted caramel, or am I wanting to go that there's so many different directions with it you can go. And that's why it becomes addictive almost to get all these different bottles, because the differences you can find all with just within bourbon.
Right.
It's really incredible.
Yeah. What else?
If you go down to 80 proof, I mean, the glass disappears quickly, but it can be okay.
So, if you had a point of like people in the 40s like couldn't educate themselves, I think the people still having this argument don't want to be educated. Like,
they go to Facebook for their education.
Right.
yeah, and I'm not saying anything bad about like Jack Daniels drinkers, but like in the small towns where I'm from, like you're just getting shots of Jack at the bar, you're mixing it with Coke, you really don't give a shit what it tastes like. Like these guys, they don't care. They're just drinking to drink. They don't want to be educated about what they're drinking. They're like, I like this label. This is a label I know, and I'm drinking it. It says Tennessee, like Tennessee whiskey. And
that's like the modern. That's kind of what I was saying too. And that's a modern take on it for sure. Like that business now.
Yeah. The funny thing is, these days, Jack Daniels wants to be everything. They say before they would never say they wouldn't even say they're not bourbon. Now they say yes, we are bourbon. We qualify, we are bourbon by definition, but we don't. That's not what we want to be called. We want to be called Tennessee whiskey. We're Tennessee whiskey.
What picks up bourbon?
They're trying to get both. Really, is what they're trying to do at this point, and it makes sense.
No. They made their argument. They're not bourbon. They need to step off.
No, but it's so hot these days. They're just jumping in on the train, I think, right? And I guess you can't blame them. So
right,
yeah. It's where it's at for sure. So, yeah, it continues to be a conversation, and we're putting in right here, right now. Let's hope it's not anymore. Let's just get past this. We're not resolving anything. I never see one of these Facebook arguments where people are going back and forth where someone's like, you know what, you're right. I agree. You know what, I agree with you. And then they're both singing Kumbaya. It's just fighting to fight.
The thing, if you like it, drink it. Drink what you like.
Drink what you like.
Hell it is.
You can never be wrong if your mantra is I'll drink what I like. Yep. So there you go. Well, we'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Katie, we're going to start with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me over on Instagram at Katie Proof.
All right, Lenny.
You can find me and the rest of Deerhammer on social media at Deerhammer, on the webs at deerhammer.com. We can order our bottle shipped straight to your door, and come visit us in beautiful Buena Vista, Colorado.
All right, Ryan.
Across all socials at 10th MTN Whiskey, and our website's 10thwhiskey.com. That's 10th whiskey with an E.
All right, McNew.
On Instagram at McNew ABV.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. We also got a company website, abvnetwork.com. Got to check that one out. Everything that we do is out there. Previous shows, blogs, so much more. abvnetwork.com. Come by and see us, the ABV Barrel Shop, the place where you can try before you buy. You never know who's going to be in there. Ryan's been in there before. Lenny's been in there before. McNew's been in there before. Katie's been in there before. So you just never know. All of our friends are there. So check us out online, abvbarrelshop.com. McNew, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I would like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review. That includes comments. It helps new people find the show, which is very important to us. And if you like what we're doing, we ask that you please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theABVNetwork.
Great job today, gang. For audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Peace. Before we let you go, let's talk about one last thing. The ABV Barrel Shop in the St. Louis community of Arnold, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop is focused on a couple of things. First of all, single barrels. We are the place where single barrels live. We go to distilleries, taste through the whiskey, select the best barrel, and have it shipped to our store where we present it to you, our customers, by allowing you to try before you buy. We're also known for the classes that we have in our education center in the store, as well as the events we have with industry professionals from the bourbon business. If you are in the St. Louis area, please come by and visit us at 6 Fox Valley Center in Arnold, Missouri. Or at a minimum, at least sign up for our email and text distribution so you know exactly what's going on in our shop over at abvbarrelshop.com. This is Steve Akeley, owner of the ABV Network, signing off. We thank you for listening to our programming and truly appreciate your support.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.